SLT Mobitel Fiber, the fiber of the nation. SLT Mobitel Fiber, the fiber of the nation.
Surf Excel නම් භාගයයි මාසයකට වඩා රිදි සෝතයි.
Tonight, back and forth. Confusion reigns over the legitimacy of initial fertilizer samples as the Chinese company sends an $8 million letter of demand to the Ceylon Fertilizer Company. No go. The health minister says rules to ban unvaccinated from public spaces could be on the cards, as the Attorney General's department says no problem. Unmoved, the opposition takes aim at the cricket team's performance with new suggestions.
3 players who were suspended, they are very good players. I think you should consider them because the World Cup will be played in 2022 again.
The sports minister, meanwhile, lays down the law.
You do understand the discipline is number one. You know what happened to your party because you all couldn't maintain discipline. So I don't want that to happen to my national team.
Just a while longer. Destination management companies call for the government to extend its lifeline and suggest a bit more.
We are hopeful that government will consider extension of moratorium facilities up to end 2022. We would like you to consider export status as inbound tour operators generate 100% foreign exchange.
All that and much more coming up on First at 9. This Monday, the 8th of November, 2021.
ඉසේ සම පෝෂණය කර ඉසුරු ඉවත් කරමින් නැවත ඇතිවීම වළකයි. නව Clear Shampoo.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening, welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammik Ekanai. 10 districts are currently under a landslide warning as heavy rains continue to hit the island. Some rivers have broken banks, while water levels at reservoirs are also on the up, putting those living in low-lying areas in danger, with various areas already underwater. There are also reports of earth slips as well. The second intermonsoon is currently in effect, and the heavy rains experienced across the island are set to continue. The Department of Meteorology says that even thunder showers are possible in most areas. What's more, heavy rains above 100 millimeters are likely at some places in northwestern, northern and western provinces. As for other areas, the forecast is rains above 75 millimeters. The heavy downpour, meanwhile, is filling the rivers and reservoirs to the brim, and some rivers have already broken their banks. Several low-lying areas, including Bulat Sinhala Damana and Atamagas Handia, are currently underwater after River Kaluganga started to overflow. With the Bulat Sinhala Molkawa Road being inundated, students and teachers were severely inconvenienced. Meanwhile, the Department of Irrigation cautioned the people living in the low-lying areas to be vigilant of a minor flood situation as the water level of River Kudaganga too has reached spill level. In the Ratnapura district, the water levels of rivers Kalu and Hangamur continue to rise. Several roads, houses, businesses and small tea estates were inundated. In the meantime, strong winds accompanied rains in Gaul yesterday, and the water level of River Ging has also risen. The roads in the areas of Ambalangwatta, Hirimbura, Kahaduwawatta, Holuwagoda and Gonapura are now underwater. In Balangoda, there was heavy fog brought on by the prevailing weather conditions. Meanwhile, acres of paddy fields in the areas of Vaunia and Punava are also inundated as a result of spill gates of various smaller reservoirs being opened. After the river Kudawe broke its banks, the area between Boyavalana and Kudagammana along the Alawagirula road became inundated. The water level of the river Kalani too has gone up. In the meantime, 8 spill gates of the Rajangani reservoir were opened. Further, 2 spill gates of the Angamur tank were opened by 5 feet, while 1 spill gate of the upper Kotmale reservoir and 3 spill gates of the Kotmale reservoir were opened owing to the heavy deluge. What's more, 2 spill gates of the Canyon reservoir had to be opened by 6 inches, while 2 spill gates of the Kukuleganga reservoir, 1 spill gate of the Randanigala reservoir and 6 spill gates of the Tabbo reservoir had to be opened as well. The reservoirs of Mausakale, Kalsari and Rantambe too are reaching spill level. Meanwhile, in Berwala, 2 houses were damaged following a landslip. People in the locality of Pinidiyamula are urged by the police to evacuate the area as there persists a threat of earth slips. The Nuwara Hatton Main Road too was obstructed owing to an earth slip in the area of Blackpool. With a heavy deluge forecasted to continue, landslide warnings are issued to the districts of Badulla, Colombo, Galle, Kalutara, Kandy, Kegol, Kurunagala, Matale, Nuwara and Ratnapura.
Big 3.
Opposition parliamentarians today took up the subject of Sri Lanka's faring at the T20 Cricket World Cup, questioning Sports Minister Namal Rajpaksha on his ministry's handling of the team. In response, the minister stated that the administration remains satisfied with the young team's performance, adding that despite criticism from many corners on certain decisions taken on disciplinary issues, it remains confident that they were the right ones, I should say, in order to bring back some order into the team. The minister added that he believes that the foundation has already been laid for the creation of world-class players for the next 15 years.
අමාත්‍යංශයේ විදියට මෙවර T20 2020 තරඟාවලිය වෙනුවෙන් අපේ ක්‍රීඩකයන් ඒ අදාළ තරඟාවලියට ඉදිරිපත් කිරීමේදී ඔවුන්ට ලබා දීපු සහයෝගය පිළිබඳ ඔබතුමා ඇත්තටම සතුටටපත් වෙන ප්‍රමාණාත්මකද කියලා දැනගන්න කැමතියි ඉස්සෙල්ලා.
පසුගිය කාල සීමාව තුළ පුහුණුකරුවෝ 5 දෙනයි කැප්ටන්ස්ලා විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් හැම අවුරුද්දකට සැරයක් පුහුණුකරුවෝ වෙනස් වෙනවා. නායකයාත් වෙනස් වෙනවා. ඉතින් අනුව අපට විශාල අභියෝගයක් තිබ්බා අපි ඉදිරි කාල සීමාව තුළ කොහොමද මුහුණ දෙන්නේ කියන කාරණේ. ඒ වගේම තමයි විනය සහ ක්‍රීඩකයන්ගේ හැසිරීම් රටාව පිළිබඳවත් විශාල ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා. අපි විනය පිළිබඳව දැඩි අවධානයක් යොමු කරලා කටයුතු කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ අනුව තමයි අපේ ක්‍රිකට් පාලක මණ්ඩලය, ඒ වගේම ක්‍රිකට් කමිටුව අරවින්ද ඩිසිල්ලා මැතිතුමාගේ ප්‍රධානත්වයෙන්, මහේල ජයවර්ධන මැතිතුමාගේ ප්‍රධානත්වයෙන් ක්‍රීඩා කවුන්සිලය, ඒ වගේම ප්‍රමෝද වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමාගේ ප්‍රධානත්වයෙන් සිලෙක්ෂන් කමිටුව එක දැඩි තීන්දුව తీරන කීපයක් ගත්තා. සමහර වෙලාවට මේ තීන්දුව తీරන ගැනීමේදී මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේදී පවා මාවත් විවේචනයට ලක් වුණා. ඒ වගේම තමයි අපට හිටපු නායකයෝ මාධ්‍යයට කිව්වා පුළුවන් නම් ක්වොලිෆයි වෙන්න සෙකන්ඩ් රවුන්ඩ් එකට කියලා. සෙමි ෆයිනල් යන එක නෙවෙයි. ඒ වගේම තමයි මේ තරුණ ක්‍රීඩකයන්ට අවස්ථාවම දීම තුළ ඒ අභියෝගය බාර ගන්න සූදානම්ද කියන කාරණය. ඉතින් කෙසේ වෙතත් අපි පෞද්ගලික ක්‍රීඩා අමාත්‍යවරයා විදිහට මම සතුටු වෙනවා. ඒ ගත්තු තීන්දුව తీරනවල නවක ක්‍රීඩකයෝ පිරිසක් බිහි වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මේ නවක ක්‍රීඩකයෝ බිහිවීම පමණක් නෙවෙයි ගරු මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි, ඔවුන් ජාත්‍යන්තර තලයේ ඉන්ටර්නැෂනල් වර්ල්ඩ් ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකේ ක්‍රීඩකයෝ බවට දැන් පරිවර්තනය වෙනවා.
අර මහේල ජයවර්ධන මැතිතුමා ඔබතුමා මතු කරපු එකේ එතුමා ඇයි අර මූලික තරඟ වලට විතරක් ඉඳලා අවශ්‍ය තරඟ වලදී එතුමා ආවේ ඇයි දම්මල?
එතුමාගේ පෞද්ගලික කාරණයක් තිබ්බා. ඉතින් ඒ වගේම තමයි එතුමා ලංකාවේ හිටියත් ඒ හැම තරඟයකටම මම පෞද්ගලිකව දන්නවා දිවාරය නොබලා ඇනලයිස් කරන එක්කෙනත් එක්ක පුහුණුකරුවෙක් එක්ක නායකයෙක් එක්ක තාක්ෂණය හරහා සම්බන්ධ වෙලා අදාළ උපදෙස් ටික දුන්නා. ඒ වගේම තමයි එතුමාට ලංකාවට එන්න පෞද්ගලික හේතුවක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මේ පෞද්ගලික හේතුවට අපි ගරු කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒක මම හිතන්නේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ අපි ඒ අයගේ පෞද්ගලිකත්වය පිළිබඳව කතා කළ යුතු නැහැ.
මේ පුහුණුකරුවන් සහ ක්‍රීඩකයන් පිළිබඳව ඔවුන්ගේ තියෙන දක්ෂතාවයන් පිළිබඳව අපිට ප්‍රශ්න කරන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ තරඟාවලියේ යම් හොඳ දැනක තිබුණා. හැබැයි අපි දැක්ක දේ තමයි ඔබතුමා කියන වගේ අත්දැකීම් මදි කියන කාරණා. අපි දැක්ක සමහර අවස්ථාවේදී පන්දු යවන්න හොඳයි, නමුත් ඒ පිටුකරුවන්ට පන්දු යැවීම සඳහා යොදවා ගැනීමේදී තිබුණු දුර්වලතා. ඔබතුමා මීට මාස 6කට කලින් මට කිව්වේ පුළුවන් නම් සෙකන්ඩ් රවුන්ඩ් සිලෙක්ට් වෙලා පෙන්නන්න කියලා. හැබැයි සෙකන්ඩ් රවුන්ඩ් නෙවෙයි දැන් ඔබතුමා කතා කරන්නේ ඇයි සෙමි ෆයිනල් යන්න බැරි වුණේ කියලා පොඩි අඩුපාඩුකම් නිසා. මගේ කණ්ඩායමේ නායකයා වෙනුවෙන් මම පෙනී හිටිනවා. ඔව් ඒ වෙලාවේ ගත යුතු හොඳම තීන්දුව ගත්තා කියන එක තමයි මම විශ්වාස කරන්නේ. අපිට එළියේ ඉඳන් කටෙන් බෝල ගහන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි පිට්ටනියට ගියාම ගත යුතු තීන්දුව తీරන ගන්න ඒ වෙලාව බලලා. හැබැයි ඉතින් හියුමන් එරර්ස් කියන දේවල්, ක්‍රීඩාවේ ජය පරාජය කියන දේවල් අපි තේරුම් ගත යුතුයි. ඔබතුමාටත් මටත් 150ට එන බෝලයකට පිට්ටෙන් ගහන්න ඕන විදිහ එළිය කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි පිට්ටනියට ගියාම ගහ ගන්න එක තමයි අමාරු. ඉතින් මට දැඩි විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා මේ ඊළඟ අවුරුදු 4 අපි යන මේ සැලැස්ම තුල ඊළඟ අවුරුදු 15ට අවශ්‍ය වර්ල්ඩ් ක්ලාස් ක්‍රීඩකයෝ අපේ රටින් බිහි වෙනවා.
Question about the 3 cricketers who were suspended. If you follow cricket, even this tournament, the openers fared very badly. We hardly got a good start. One of the openers were out in the first 2-3 overs. So 3 players who were suspended, they are very good players. I think you should consider them because the World Cup will be played in 2022 again.
Honourable Member, you do understand the discipline is number one. You know what happened to your party because you all couldn't maintain discipline. So I don't want that to happen to my national team, Honourable Member. So we have taken action and the board has appointed a committee and they have given a statement on that. So and also the judgment is delivered. So these boys can start playing domestic cricket once their term is over. They can also play LPL as they are starting their domestic career. After 1 year they can come back to the international cricket. But I must reiterate, discipline is key and we will not compromise on discipline whether you are a player or whether you are in the management.
Now, moving on with other local stories, Minister of Health Kehelia Rambukwala revealed today that the ministry expects to prevent unvaccinated persons from entering public spaces. He added that the Attorney General's view was sought in this regard and the country's top law officer agrees that it can be done legally. On a different note, 4 senior grades went to school for the first time in months across the country today as part of the phased school reopening plan. Grades 10, 11, 12 and 13 at schools island-wide returned to academic activities today under the second phase of the school reopening plan. In Colombo, these were the scenes. Students of the chosen grades returning to school outside Colombo was also captured by our cameras. All primary schools in the country too are currently functioning. However, the grades 6, 7, 8 and 9 are yet to return to conventional education. In the meantime, a batch of 202,000 Pfizer vaccine doses reached the island last night, especially boosting efforts to vaccinate school children. Authorities say that those who are yet to get the vaccine or those who have only obtained a single dose can get the jab by contacting their relevant MOH office. As of last evening, 13,581,028 persons had been fully vaccinated with the 2-dose regime, which is 63% of Sri Lanka's total population. What's more, the booster dose administration is also underway at present. 56,252 persons have been administered with a booster so far. Meanwhile, the Advisory Committee on Communicable Diseases at the Ministry of Health has given the go-ahead for the administration of a booster dose to expectant mothers as well. In the meantime, the Attorney General has informed the Ministry of Health that legal action can be instituted against persons who haven't received both doses of the vaccine if and when they enter public places.
ගිය සතියේ මං නීතිපතිතුමාගෙන් අවසරයක් ඉල්ලුවා නීතියේ රාමුව තුළ අවසරයක් තියෙයිද කියලා වැක්සින්ස් දෙකම ගත්තේ නැති කට්ටියට පොදු ස්ථානවලට යන්න බැරි වෙන්න. දැන් මට අද ලැබිලා තියෙනවා ඒක නීතිය අනුකූලව කරන්නට පුළුවන්. මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ඒකට නීතිය අනුකූලව ඒ කටයුත්ත කරන්න ලෝකයේ දියුණු රටවල් ගණනාවක් ඒ දේ කරලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා අපේ සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශය හැටියට වැක්සින්ස් දෙකම ගන්න පුළුවන් ඇප් එකක් හදලා ඒ ඇප් එකත් එක්ක ඒක නැත්නම් පබ්ලික් ප්ලේසස් වලට නැත්නම් පොදු ස්ථානවලට යන එක
There has been a steady increase in new cases over the past days following a run of days which saw the daily caseload hover around the 500 mark. Yesterday, 626 new infections were confirmed.
This may be a natural ups and downs that can happen in an epidemic situation. However, we have to take this very seriously, basically because even the slightest increase following a period of stagnation indicates that there could be a further rise of cases in the coming days. And this could be the results of some behavior that we did during the past 2 weeks or so. So therefore, definitely there will be an increase of cases in the coming days also. To prevent further increase, we have to act now itself. Therefore, the only way to get out of this situation is to adhere to the health guidelines. We have seen people are traveling. We don't discourage traveling or any leisure activities. While engaging in your leisure activities, try to spend your time in a calm and quiet place rather than going into crowded places where a large number of people are gathering, and also people are going to religious places at this moment. And again, we would like to urge that wherever there is a crowd in those places, please avoid. At least go to the place at a time where there are no people or minimum number of people, or try to spend your time at a calm and quiet place where we will be having a least risk of getting the disease. Otherwise, we will be experiencing another rise of cases.
We will see you shortly after this break. Bear with us.
මිලියන 18.8 නිවස ලක්ෂ 5ක් ගෙවා දැන්ම වෙන් කරවා ගන්න මල්බෙරි රෙසිඩන්ස්.
Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now, the Supreme Court was informed today that the Criminal Investigation Department has no designs of arresting Reverend Father Cyril Gamini Fernando at this moment in time. However, a decision will be made upon the conclusion of investigations. This relates to the fundamental rights petition Reverend Father Gamini filed before the Supreme Court seeking to prevent his arrest by the CID. The fundamental rights petition filed by Reverend Father Cyril Gamini Fernando was taken up today before the Supreme Court. The petition was filed seeking to prevent the petitioner's arrest by the Criminal Investigation Department pertaining to the complaint filed by Director of State Intelligence Service Major General Suresh Saleh. The SIS chief filed the complaint with the CID on the 25th of October pertaining to the allegations made by Reverend Father Gamini and several other individuals during an online forum held on the 23rd of October to brief the Sri Lankan community living overseas on the Easter Sunday attacks. A silent protest was worked off by the Catholic clergy and Easter Sunday terror attack victims today on roadside leading up to the court complex. Reverend Father Cyril Gamini Fernando's fundamental rights petition was taken up before a Supreme Court bench consisting Justices Vijit Malalgoda, Preeti Padman Surasena and L.T.B. Dahidenia. During the proceedings, Additional Solicitor General Roshant Abesekara, representing the Criminal Investigation Department and the Attorney General's Department, said that there are no plans to arrest Reverend Father Cyril Gamini Fernando at this time pertaining to the SIS chief's complaint. He, however, added that a final decision in this regard is due to be taken upon the advice of the Attorney General at the conclusion of the investigations. The Supreme Court bench then ordered the CID to inform the Attorney General of any plans to arrest the petitioner prior to making the arrest. Meanwhile, President's Counsel Riensi Arsakularatnam, making submissions on behalf of the petitioner, said that his client is prepared to cooperate with the investigations and would be ready to visit the CID and provide a statement at the appropriate time of notice. The chairman of the bench, Justice Malalgoda, then ordered the CID to provide a date and time and summon the petitioner to the CID if a statement is required from him. We will see you once more on the other side of this break. Bear with us. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, the Chinese fertilizer company Qingdao Seawind Biotech, whose organic fertilizer samples, that is, which proved to have harmful bacteria in them, has sent a letter of demand to the National Plant Quarantine Service seeking $8 million in damages. As per the letter, failing to pay the damages within 3 days will result in legal action against the Plant Quarantine Service. The Fertilizer Saga involving the Chinese company Qingdao Seawind Biotech and the Ministry of Agriculture continues to drag on. Yesterday, the Chinese embassy in Colombo tweeted that the Ceylon Fertilizer Company has received the relevant fertilizer sample on the 28th of July. The tweet also said that the fertilizer sample should have been tested by the National Plant Quarantine Service before giving the bid, signing the contract and obtaining the import permit. Pertaining to this matter, sources at the Ceylon Fertilizer Company told AdaDerana that the bid was given to the Chinese company on the 28th of July. They accepted that 500 grams of fertilizer arrived in Sri Lanka on the 27th of July. However, they said that they were not from the product Sri Lanka wanted. With that being the case, that sample was not tested. Accordingly, the Ceylon Fertilizer Company Limited had requested Qingdao Seawind Biotech to provide a sample from the requested product, which had been collected by an independent international laboratory for testing in Sri Lanka. In this backdrop, before the CFC requested sample could reach the island, the National Plant Quarantine Service had obtained a sample from the Chinese company. However, that sample was not collected by an independent international lab. However, the test results of that sample revealed it contained harmful bacteria. As per Director of the National Plant Quarantine Service, Dr. Tushara Wickramaratchi, the report pertaining to this sample was finalized on the 8th of September. 15 days later, the fertilizer sample collected by an independent international laboratory arrived in Sri Lanka on the 23rd of September. After 5 days of its arrival, that sample too proved to contain harmful bacteria following the NPQS test results. In the meantime, the Chinese fertilizer company Qingdao Seawind Biotech has sent a letter of demand to the additional director of the National Plant Quarantine Service. Through the letter of demand, the company seeks $8 million for the damages caused to them, and the payment is sought within 3 days. The letter also says that the failure to pay the relevant sum will lead to legal action against the NPQS. However, Additional Director of the NPQS, Dr. Tushara Wickramaratchi, said that they have not received any official letter in this regard. He also said that further steps will be announced once the official letter is received. With many expectations from Budget 2022 as the country's economy looks to regain lost momentum, our focus tonight is on the tourism industry and what they look forward to from it. Past President of the Sri Lanka Association of Inbound Tour Operators, Devindra Senaratne, called for government support in the form of moratoriums and debt restructuring to be expanded up to the end of next year. He also urged the government to give all destination management companies export status due to their foreign exchange generation capabilities.
Speaking about his wish list from the upcoming budget for destination management companies, past president of the Sri Lanka Association of Inbound Tour Operators, Devindra Senaratne, says that what companies need urgently is an extension of the current moratorium on loans and financial facilities at least up to the end of 2022, along with restructuring of loans up to 10 years. Further highlighting the industry's ability to generate much-needed foreign exchange, Senaratne also called for more support for companies to be able to pay salaries through working capital loans and a possible directive to banks to hold back from charging interest as well.
At this crucial period, we are hopeful that government will consider support in the new budget with special consideration to extension of moratorium facilities for loans and financial facilities up to end 2022. This will help the companies to survive in this period. Restructuring of loans and finances facilities, repayment period up to 10 years with a grace period of 2 years. Cash flow situation of the destination management companies is a serious concern, and the revival of the industry is a slow, gradual process. This will ensure the continuation of the operation without any hindrances and manage their cash flow effectively to reduce the burden. It will be appreciative to issue a directive not to charge interest during this period of the moratorium. This must also include working capital loans for inbound tour operators to manage cash flows. Staff salaries. This is a very important issue for us. The Labour Department, EFC and the government have agreed to a tri-party agreement which we propose the government to continue until end 2022. As for businesses, thanks to the government for offering us the export industry facilities to some extent to overcome our main issues. We would like you to consider export status as inbound tour operators generate 100% foreign exchange.
Now taking a look at the Colombo bourse, Sri Lankan shares snapped 3 straight sessions of gains to end lower today, hit by losses among financial stocks. The CSE All-Share Price Index fell 0.1% to end at 10,621.4 points after hitting a fresh record high of 10,728.46 earlier in the day. In contrast, the S&P/SL 20 index of more liquid stocks gained 14.74 points to end at 3,649.94. Now with that, here's Dimantha Matthew with a brief report on today's market performance.
Today we saw a lot of volatility in the stock market as the index had a lot of selling pressure in the market where it was pushed downwards significantly during the first half an hour to 45 minutes of trading. However, afterwards we saw a bit of a recovery in the index and then come back into positive territory in a significant way. However, afterwards towards the latter part of the day, again we saw the selling pressure re-emerging and the market pushed into negative territory but closing down by around 11 points. So overall the SPI was closed at 10,621 points with the overall index being down by around 11 points. S&P/SL 20 however was in the green with being 14 points up. So we are sort of having a mixed day in the market and trading was heavy during the day because there was a lot of retail activity and you could say the retail favorite counters have reactivated and significant amount of trading is being seen in the market. So overall we are seeing the diversified financial segment being really active during the day.
In the meantime, the Sri Lankan rupee continues to remain at 202.99 cents against the US dollar. Now let's take a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee fared against other major currencies during the day. And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.